Shalom. Good morning. I didn't want to wake up this morning. Yeah. Yeah, you know how that is. See, sun's coming up, so I got to do this. Anyways, Proverbs 8. Does not wisdom call, and understanding lift up her voice? On the top of the heights along the way, between the paths she has taken her stand. Beside the gates leading to the city, at the entrance she shouts, O men, I call to you, and my voice is to the sons of men. You simple ones, understand insight, and you fools, be of an understanding heart. Listen, for I speak noble words, and the opening of my lips is about the straightness. For my mouth speaks truth, and wrongness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness, none of them twisted or crooked, all of them plain to him who understand, and straight to those who find knowledge. Accept my discipline and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all delights are not comparable to her. I, wisdom, have dwelt with insight, and I find knowledge, foresight. The fear of Yahweh is to hate evil, and I have hated pride and arrogance, and the evil way, and the perverse mouth. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. Mightiness is mine. Be my sovereigns, reign, and rulers mark righteous inscriptions. By me sovereigns reign, and rulers mark right inscriptions. By me princes rule, and nobles, all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who earnestly seek me do find me. Riches and esteem are with me, enduring wealth and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold and fine gold, and my increase than choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of the right ruling, to bestow substance on those who love me, and to fill their treasuries. Yahweh possessed me, the beginning of his way, as the first of his works of old. I was set up ages ago, at the first, before the earth ever was. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no springs heavy with water, before mountains were sunk, before the hills I was brought forth, before he had made the earth and the fields, or the first dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he inscribed a circle on the face of the deep, when he set the clouds above, when he made the fountains of the deep strong, when he gave the sea its law, so that the waters would not transgress his mouth, when he inscribed the foundations of the earth. Then I was besides him, a master workman, and I was his delight, day by day, rejoicing before him all the time, rejoicing in the world, his earth, and my delights were with the sons of men. And now listen to me, you children, for blessed are those who guard my ways. Listen to discipline and become wise, and do not refuse it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. For whoever finds me shall find life, and obtain favor from Yahweh. But he who sins against me injures himself. All who hate me love death. All right. So this is wisdom speaking. And it sounds like wisdom is being described also as Yeshua. At least that's what I'm getting. Yeshua, Jesus the Christ. Let's see. Yeah. Counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding. Mightiness is mine. But my sovereigns reign. think it's interesting in describing how the earth was made. Yeah. I'll have to think on this one. I don't really have much thoughts on this one, I guess. I don't know. There's some good ones here, though. So, speaking on wisdom, for whoever finds me shall find life and obtain favor from Yahweh. But he who sins against me injures himself. All who hate me love death. You know, I could say a lot about that. I guess that little bit. Freaking, it seems like there's a lot of people that lack wisdom today. You know, a certain political side of the spectrum lacks a lot of wisdom. They want to go against what is all, common sense and good. And they're definitely a death cult. The left is definitely a death cult. Everything they do leads to death, and they just don't realize it, or they do, and they know. And that's the worst part. I honestly, I thought for a while that a lot of people on the left were just, they didn't know what they were advocating for. They didn't realize the dangers of the policies they want. They didn't realize that. They didn't realize that their policies usually lead to death. Like transitioning children and abortion, which obviously leads to death. Socialism leads to death. Communism leads to death. All these things lead to death, and it's like they either pretend like they don't realize that, or they just, they know it, and that's what they want. So, I'm not gonna wax super political here, but that's just, my observation. It'd do us good to have wisdom. All right, I gotta get up. I gotta get going. Shalom.